Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community in 7 questions with Emmy.
Hey guys, welcome back to 7 Questions with Emmy. Today I'm talking with Janice Dean, the weather machine. She's a senior meteorologist at the Fox News Channel, has written Freddy the Frogcaster book series, along with Mostly Sunny and Make Your Own Sunshine. Janice, thanks for chatting with me today.
Emmy, thank you so much. Thank you for getting up so early for this interview.
You're welcome. I feel bad. You have to wake up every morning at like 3 a.m.
That is correct. I would say if someone asked me what the hardest part of my job is, it's getting up at 3 a.m. That alarm at 3 a.m. in the morning is really tough.
Well, right after, let's like agree that we're both, right as this is over, we'll just jump into bed and go to bed.
I love that plan. I love naps, don't you?
Yes, especially when I didn't get to sleep in.
I agree. We are right on the same wavelength, Emmy.
Yeah. How did you know when you wanted to be a meteorologist?
Well, I grew up in Canada. I grew up in one of the coldest capitals in the world, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, where we have a lot of winter, a lot of snow, and it gets very, very cold. So I think I was always fascinated by the forecasters and how they knew in advance what the temperature was going to be like or how much snow we were going to get. And I also remember some really big storms that we had growing up, an ice storm that shut down the city for days, and the National Guard had to come in. So I remember that, and I remember how important the forecasters were to help us figure out what we were going to do and to bring emergency responders in to help us. So very young, I knew that I was very interested in the weather.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think a lot of meteorologists that get to do the weather, a lot of them will tell you a big storm that happened that made them really realize how important meteorology is and how important weather forecasters, especially locally, local forecasters, they're the ones that really have to know the surroundings and warn residents if there's a big storm coming. So yeah. we have fun on TV, but we also take our jobs really seriously.
You said you lived in Canada. It's pretty cold here too.
That's true. Well, you're close to the Canadian border, so you get some of that really big snow and those really bitter cold temperatures that come from our friends in Canada.
But the good thing is that we're going to California for spring break, so we'll be in 90-degree weather tomorrow.
That is awesome.
Are you going anywhere for spring break?
Our spring break is next month in April, and we are going to Disney World, and we're really excited about that. My kids, they're 13 and 11, and they are big Star Wars fans. My 11-year-old thinks he is a Star Wars genius, and I would have to agree with that. So there's this big Star Wars exhibit now in Florida at Disney World. So that's what we're doing next month. I'll tell you all about it when we get back.
We're going to Disneyland, so we're definitely going to go on the awesome Star Wars spaceship ride.
Fantastic.
What's been the wildest weather event you ever reported?
I've covered a lot of them, especially the hurricanes, right? When I first got to Fox back in 2004, we had a really active hurricane season. And the following season, we had Hurricane Katrina, which unfortunately was the most devastating hurricane to ever, hit the Gulf Coast. Within the last 20 years, it killed a lot of people. It caused so much destruction and damage. So I covered Hurricane Katrina. It was a Category 5 storm at one point. And when it made landfall along the Louisiana coastline, it was a Category 3, but it had a storm surge of a Category 5 storm. I think it was at 30 feet, which really destroyed a lot of the coastline. I also covered Hurricane Sandy, which visited us here in the Northeast a few years ago, and it affected my neighborhood. I remember I had to be on the air to cover Hurricane Sandy while my family, my husband and my 2 boys were on Long Island. And so that's part of the job you have to realize is that if there's a storm coming our way, I have to forecast it and I have to be away from my family. And that's why it's really important for all families to know what to do if you're in an area that gets evacuated by some of these storms. So definitely, I've covered a lot of hurricanes. I've definitely done some severe weather outbreaks, including very strong tornadoes that have also damaged a lot of property. We've had a few of them, in Tennessee, parts of the Southeast, along the Gulf Coast. Florida gets tornadoes as well. Every state actually in the US has the potential to have a tornado affect them. Tornadoes can really happen any time of the year in any state, but they typically happen across the South in a place called Tornado Alley. So folks that live in those areas really need to be prepared for severe weather season.
Did you cover the big flood in New York last year?
Last September, yeah.
Last September. We were actually in New York because I went to go see Drew Barrymore, and it was crazy.
Oh, I remember that. Yes, the flooding rainfall came so quickly. And that's the problem with flash floods is sometimes you don't have a lot of time to get away from them, right? That's why we always say, turn around, don't drown. If you see water that you can't see the bottom of, you're always urged to turn around so you don't travel through high water like that. And that's what a flash flood is. It comes very quickly. And sometimes you can get 1, 2, 3 inches of rain an hour. And that's exactly what happened here in New York. You have to really know what to do if that happens. And I'm sure that your dad and your family took care of you and knew what to do.
The water, when we got out of our cab, it was like pulling me. It was it was really scary.
Oh my goodness, that is scary, especially if you're in a vehicle, right? So, it is important to know what to do if there is a flash flood watch or warning, because there's not a lot of time to get away from the danger.
I think we were actually watching you in the TV in the cab. I don't know.
That might have been possible. That's why I thank all of our local forecasters, because they really have to know what's happening and where it's happening to let others know where the danger is. So, I have a job where I do national weather. And when there's a big story in, say, New York City or Atlanta, Georgia, I will always cover those stories. But the local forecasters are the ones that have to really know everything there is to know about where their city is, where it's in relation to, say, the Atlantic Ocean, like the Northeast, and living along the coast, the I-95 corridor. You really have to know what your geography is to do local weather.
You have to get up very early for your job. Have you ever slept for your alarm or not made it to the studio on time?
That's a really good question, Emmy. I have to say that I've been really lucky. I've been doing this so long that I have kind of a natural alarm now. So there have been times when my alarm hasn't gone off and I forgot to set it. But for some reason, I just wake up naturally anywhere between 2:30 and 3:30, just naturally. And on the weekends, I get to go back to sleep, which I love. But thankfully, knock wood, I really have never missed a shift at work. I do know other people that have had that happen to them, but I've been really lucky. And if I am late, I'm really lucky because I have a good crew that will make sure that I'm ready for my first weather report, which is usually around 5:30 in the morning. So I have a lot of time to sort of, when I get to work, I make sure that I have a lot of time to check the forecast. And luckily, I have wonderful people that do my hair and makeup. I feel really lucky. It's almost like I'm a princess every morning when I come in, because they get to do all of this.
Sorry, I'm so tired. I've been yawning through the whole interview. I'm trying to I'm not bored. It's not
listen, I understand completely. It's hard not to yawn this early in the morning.
What's been your most embarrassing moment on TV?
I had to think about that. because I, again, have been really lucky that I haven't had really, really, really embarrassing moments. And I've had a lot of opportunity to have embarrassing moments. I do a lot of outdoor events if there is weather to cover, like the Kentucky Derby, like the Westminster Dog Show. I've also covered Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney. So there's always opportunity for things to go wrong. But I will tell you, Emmy, I remember one time a few years ago, I was climbing down a building. What do they call that? When they, there's a special rappelling. It's called rappelling. So they tie you to a rope and you climb down a building almost like you're Spider-Man. And so I was doing that live on television and I said a bad word. Live on television, Emmy.
Oh, that's kind of bad.
That's pretty bad. Yeah. So that would probably be my most embarrassing moment.
Can you tell me about Freddy the Frogcaster?
Yes, Freddy the Frogcaster. Let's see. I even have a book here. So here's Freddy right here. Freddy. So when did I write Freddy? It was 2013, I think.
That was the year I was born.
That was the year you were born. That was a really good year because Freddy was born and Emmy was born. So I love teaching kids about weather. I love to go to schools and talk about my job and what I do. And so I thought to myself, wow, maybe there's an opportunity for me to write about the weather to help teach kids about what's going on in our atmosphere. And I did some research and there's not a whole lot of books out there that teach kids about the weather. So I thought, well, maybe I could do that. And I love frogs. Frogs are one of my favorite amphibians. So I thought, what about a frog that loves to forecast the weather? And that's when I thought, frog casting sounds amazing. So I did Freddy, and then I did 4 other books. So there's Freddy the Frogcaster, and it's about a big thunderstorm. There's Freddy the Frogcaster and the Huge Hurricane, Freddy the Frogcaster and the Flash Flood, Freddy the Frogcaster and the Terrible Tornado, and Freddy the Frogcaster and the Big Blizzard. So I've done 5 Freddy books, and I'm proud of all of them.
I need to read them. I've never read them. We're going to have to get them.
Well, you tell your dad I'll have a shipment of Freddy the Frogcaster coming your way in the next couple of days.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You've written other books called Mostly Sunny and Maker and Sunshine. How do you remain upbeat and positive when things are hard?
Well, that's a good question. I think I've always been somebody that's been optimistic. I think I've always been somebody that's been mostly sunny, even when things are not so great. So I think you almost have to be born with that. You seem like the type of person that is mostly sunny all of the time, right? So I really love my job. I have a wonderful job where I have such great people around me, and working for Fox, I've been here almost 20 years now. So, to be here so long means that, things are pretty good, and I have a really good support around me, some wonderful friends that I consider like my family. And I feel really lucky. I've got 2 wonderful boys and a great husband. So, it's hard not to think that life is pretty good when you have all of these great things around you.
Janice, since you are going to send me something, I'm going to send you a 7 questions shirt, a pen, and a keychain, and I'll draw you a picture for your background too.
Oh, and I'll put it right here because these are all my kids' drawings. And Emmy, I will make sure that your picture is on this wall as well.
Have you ever been to Idaho and tried our famous potatoes?
I have not, but if that's an invitation, then I will be there soon.
Yes, it's an invitation.
I love it.
You come during the summer so you don't have a cold.
Okay, I love that idea, and we'll have some wonderful Idaho potatoes together.
Come July or August because it snowed once in June on my birthday.
Wow, you know what? I'm from Canada, so it has snowed on my birthday in May as well. We have that in common.
Now it's time for some bonus questions. Are you ready, Janice?
I'm ready.
They might be a little bit hard.
Okay. I'll put my thinking cap on.
Okay, I'll put my question cap on.
All right.
What's your favorite junk food?
I love all junk food, Emmy. That's really hard for me to narrow it down to one thing. But I'm going to have to say my favorite junk food is salt and vinegar chips.
That's my mommy's too.
Oh, I love them so much.
I do too.
Right? I could just eat them all day long, every single day.
Do you get them in your dressing room? Do they do them?
No, but sometimes I will go to the store and make sure that my little cupboard here is stocked full of salt and vinegar chips. But I will tell you, if it's here, it'll be gone like that. I have no willpower.
Well, if they you should get them to bring it in your little snack cart. Get them.
Well, maybe the next time I write a contract or they have a contract, I'll make sure that it's in there. Every day I need to have salt and vinegar chips.
Yeah, like chips, and you can have something like chocolate and sodas and chips.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yep. What do you like to do when you're not working?
I like spending time with my boys. I love to read. That's one of my favorite things of all time, having a really good book. It's my favorite thing, Emmy, is when I have a really good book, something to look forward to. I love watching movies with my kids. I love taking walks around the neighborhood. That's something that I've been doing recently, is taking walks and listening to music. But just spending time with my boys and my husband and doing fun stuff like going to Walt Disney World in April. Woohoo!
Yeah, I love to read too. If we tilted the camera, you would see Bookmania, literally.
What's your favorite book?
I love The Babysitter's Club. And I'm going to love Freddy the Frogcaster.
Yay! It's got your name on it, Emmy.
Yay. Can you share a piece of advice you've received in your life that might help me?
The best piece of advice I ever got was from my dad when I was really young. And he always told me, find what you most love to do, and it'll never feel like work. And I really feel that's exactly what I'm doing. Almost like what you're doing right now. You seem to love interviewing people and finding things out.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do that as a career when you get older, that's like the best thing in the world. So that's what I tell everyone: when you get into a job, do what you most love to do. And for me, it's talking to people, it's going outside, it's having fun, and it's also, making sure that people are safe when there's a storm coming. So I really feel lucky that I'm doing the job I feel like I was most meant to do.
Thank you so much for talking with me today, Janice.
It's my pleasure, Emmy. It's the best part of my work week.
It's also kind of hard waking up because we have spring break this week. It's the first day of spring break and I have to wake up early though.
Oh no, but now you can go for a nap, right?
Yes, but I'm glad I got to do the interview with you. It's worth waking up.
Oh, I appreciate that. It was worth waking up for me too.
Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community, and 7 questions with Emmy.